Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm making cinnamon roll pancakes. This video is in collaboration with my friend Shaunna from the channel Mrs.Dickinson 1910. Now the reason I know not to pronounce it 1910 is because I asked her, and she said that 1910 is her wedding anniversary with her husband, which I thought was so neat because my wedding anniversary is in 2010 too. Today we are both making fall-inspired pancakes. So I'm sharing cinnamon roll pancakes, and then on Shaunna's channel, she'll be sharing her recipe for pumpkin pancakes. Now these are two of my absolute favorite flavors. I actually have a favorite diner here in Pittsburgh. Well, two. I love Pamela's, but DeLuca's in the Strip is so amazing. And one of my favorite foods there are their pancakes. And my top two flavors are their pumpkin and their cinnamon roll. So I am super excited to be recreating these pancakes in my kitchen today. Shaunna is a wife and mother, and she shares so many amazing what's for dinner and what's for breakfast videos on her channel, which I think is so cool. She does family vlogs and grocery hauls and just has a ton of awesome recipe ideas. I'm going to link her channel, Mrs. Dickinson 1910, in my description box below. So when you're done watching my cinnamon roll pancake video, make sure you go check out her channel. The first step for these incredible cinnamon roll pancakes is to make the cinnamon swirl filling. So that starts with 1 stick of unsalted butter, which I melted, and then I've started to allow it to cool. To that, I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon. So I'll add those in. This is gonna smell so good, and it's going to give my pancakes the most amazing cinnamon roll flavor. So I just whisked all these ingredients together with a fork, and now I'm pouring it into a quart-size Ziploc bag. And what we're gonna do is allow this to kind of sit off to the side for a little bit and continue to cool, and it'll thicken up slightly. And then we'll just snip, what? Hi, Andrew. You can see Andrew down here. He's hanging out with us in the kitchen today. So then when we're ready to add our cinnamon swirl to our pancakes, we'll just cut the corner off of the bag, just the tiniest bit, and then we can carefully make a perfect cinnamon swirl right in the middle of our pancake. Today I'm using my brother's recipe for buttermilk pancakes. I use this all the time, it's tried and true. Plus, he has 7 kids, so we know that we can easily double or triple this recipe if need be. The pancake batter calls for 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk, and I typically don't have that just sitting around in my fridge, so I make my own. What I'm doing today is starting with a tablespoon of white vinegar in this measuring cup. You can also use a tablespoon of lemon juice, whatever you have, and then to this, I'm just gonna add, I don't even know what I have, 2% milk. You can use any kind, whole milk, 1%, whatever. And I'm gonna top off the vinegar up to the 1 3/4 cup mark. I'll stir it around and then set it off to the side for a few minutes because you want the milk to kind of thicken up and take on that tangy flavor. Next, we're gonna put together our pancake batter. So that starts with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, which I have measured here in my awesome 2-cup measuring cup. My mother-in-law gave that to me, I love it. And then to the flour, I'm gonna add a tablespoon of white sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of baking powder, and then half a teaspoon of salt. So we'll sprinkle that all in. And then I'll just quickly whisk that together so everything is evenly incorporated. Plus it gets some of the lumps out of the flour, if there are any. Next, I'm adding 2 eggs. After the eggs, I'm adding in my homemade buttermilk, 1 3/4 cup. And then lastly, I have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which I melted. Fun fact, I melted this almost the whole way, then I popped it back in the microwave for what I thought was gonna be 5 seconds. And I realized I pressed 5 minutes too late because there was a huge explosion. So I got to clean my microwave during this process too. So that was a little added bonus. So I'll just pour that in and then whisk it all together. My batter is all whisked together and it's a fairly thick consistency. This is exactly how I like it. But if you want your pancake batter a little thinner, you can add a little extra milk, or thicker and add a little extra flour. I just preheated my griddle on my stovetop to about medium heat, so I'm gonna let that come up to temperature, and in the meantime, I'm going to make a vanilla glaze to drizzle over top of the pancakes. Now, to be honest, I really like these just with classic maple syrup, but I thought this glaze would send these pancakes a little bit over the top and make them more like a quintessential cinnamon roll. So in my mixing bowl here, I have a half a cup of powdered sugar, and to that, I'm going to add just a splash of pure vanilla extract. So maybe like, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon. There we go. And then I'm going to start with about a tablespoon of milk, and then whisk it together and see where we are with the consistency. I might need a little more to continue to thin it out. And of course, you can double this recipe if you want extra glaze, or you don't even have to add it. It's totally optional, but I thought it'd be fun. So we'll add another little splash. Just kidding, I totally prejudged that and now it's too runny. But that's an easy fix. I can just add a little more powdered sugar. And in fact, looking at this, I'm probably gonna want more glaze anyway, so it totally works out. So I'm gonna grab a little extra powdered sugar and thicken this back up a little bit. My husband also just reminded me the words of the great Bob Ross, that there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. So it's a very happy, delicious accident. Okay, so I'm adding more powdered sugar. And I think this is gonna be better. You also might notice that my backdrop has changed slightly. I'm making a sweet potato hash tonight. I'm actually having the pancakes as breakfast for dinner. So we're having cinnamon roll pancakes and then a sweet potato hash. So it's sweet potatoes and peppers and onions with some fried eggs on top. So comment below if you want a recipe video for that. So my griddle has preheated over medium heat. It's nice and hot. I just have a stick of unsalted butter here that I'm gonna use to grease it down. Like that sizzle. And in between batches, you can always add a little more butter or canola oil if you're using that, but I totally prefer the flavor of butter. You can add some extra in between just so your pancakes don't stick. So I like to use a 1/3 cup measure to portion out my pancake batter. I'll probably get about 4 at a time on the griddle, spaced out evenly. So let me grab my batter here and we'll scoop them out. So my cinnamon swirl mixture has thickened up really nicely. It's kind of like a thick paste now. And I'm just gonna snip the tip of this bag off. Oh, perfect. Okay, and we're gonna go and swirl this on top of all of our pancake batter. Okay, so we're starting in the middle and we're just gonna pipe a little swirl. How awesome does that look? Oh my gosh, you just don't wanna get too close to the edge. Okay, so there's one little cinnamon swirl and we'll go on to the next one. When you're cooking pancakes, you're looking for little bubbles to form on the top of them before you know that they're ready to flip. So we still have another minute or two on these before we flip them. So just a quick tip, in between batches of making your pancakes, you can use a damp paper towel to wipe down your griddle, just so that sugary cinnamon mixture doesn't burn on your griddle. Okay, my cinnamon sugar pancakes are ready. They look amazing. They smell even better. For dramatic effect, I'm going to slowly pour the glaze over top right now. Oh yeah. How amazing does that look? I cannot wait to try these out. Also, looking at how much glaze I have left, I'm just gonna tell you now, you're gonna wanna start with at least a cup of powdered sugar, and then you can adjust that as needed. Okay, I'm going in. Oh my gosh. That cinnamon sugar swirl gets kind of caramelized, so it's a little bit crispy on top. They are so, so amazing. That cinnamon flavor definitely makes these feel kind of like a fall pancake. You know what I was thinking too? Shaunna is making pumpkin pancakes, and you could totally use this cinnamon sugar swirl in her pumpkin pancake batter. That would be amazing. Definitely reminds me of a cinnamon roll. In fact, I forgot to mention earlier that I have a video for homemade cinnamon rolls too. So After you try out these pancakes, you can also try out my cinnamon roll recipe. I'll leave it in the description box below. Make sure you check out Shaunna's channel for her pumpkin pancake recipe, Mrs. Dickinson 1910. I'll leave her link in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Anne's Family Recipe. Thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe.